My name is Marie-Liesse. I'd love to know yours. We all have one, right? Not a choice we made. Do you like yours? Or do you hate it, maybe? Do you think it's defining you? What is its meaning? I recently listened to a talk from an expert in names, and she was stressing the importance of this act from our parents, not a random choice at all. Consciously or unconsciously, when we are given a name, there is often a mission attached to it. So, let's take our name as a gift, a wishing from our parents maybe, a blessing more than a curse, hopefully, and decide what we want to make of it. Mine is very unique. In fact, so unusual that no one can catch it the first time, even French people. Marie-Liesse, even after 10 years in Asia, I got used to it, and I cannot drop the second part of my name, because liesse is an ancient French word that means joy. And I can tell I was pretty happy growing up in a big family, the older of 5 siblings with a twin sister. So I thought I was pretty much programmed for joy. You got it. My topic today is joy. And I want to start with a distinction. Joy versus happiness. Even though Marie-Liesse rhymes with happiness, as I said, the meaning of my name is joy. Not an effort to pursue something for some kind of perfect life, but more something that you embrace in the moment. Because let us face it, life is not a straight line. It has a way to take you to places you never thought you would go. This is me, 8 years ago, pregnant with my 4th kid, when 2 months before the delivery date, he was diagnosed with a genetic condition called achondroplasia, the most common form of dwarfism. Still a pretty rare condition affecting only 1 out of 25,000 pregnancies. It was a complete shock. And I was oscillating between denial and scandal. Why me? If I can take a comparison, the unlikeliness of it to happen is like being on a plane, embarked for some destination, and at the last minute, you end up landing in a different place. You say, what? I didn't sign for this. But this is it. And I want to share with you 3 keys that made me reconnect with joy again. Because the next 2 months were pretty much of an emotional roller coaster. And very soon, anxiety and self-doubt started to creep in. Will I be able to love this kid? How will the world accept him? How to raise him to be a joyful boy? And if I can continue on that lighter metaphor, we all would like to be traveling. Here was I, expecting a 3rd child, knowing it all, dreaming of the next destination, like some great vacation in Bali, secretly hoping for a cute little girl after 3 gorgeous boys. When, just before the landing, the captain, announces, "Welcome to Alaska." Now, how do you react? you have to get down on the ground in Alaska. And you have a choice. You can either suffer and complain like a good French would do, that it's so damn cold here and you're not prepared for this, you don't have the appropriate clothes in your luggage. Or you can explore and discover that there are, in fact, beautiful and different things to see in Alaska. Back to this moment. Look, my tummy was huge. How ironic for such a tiny baby. I remember vividly when I made this shift inside from resistance to acceptance. And it's only until I accepted the reality as it was. My child has dwarfism. Until then, you are in a dark place, and there's no much room for joy. But then, you can start to see glimpses of joy. And I kind of got excited to embark on this journey. Or should I say, this Odyssey, because this is then that we decided to equip our son with a strong name, Ulysse. It's the French word for Odysseus. And let me refresh your memory, in case you forgot, this famous king who went to war against the Trojans for 10 years, and then on the way back found a lot of struggles until 10 other years later, he can finally get his wife and his throne back. This very charismatic hero is remembered for his astuteness, perseverance, and loyalty. Now back to our Ulysse. When he was born, I completely fell in love. Wouldn't you? Now, on our journey, there were a few stops to hospitals. And he was not a great fan. I was not a great fan either. I've only been to a hospital 4 times, just to give birth. When I saw my baby all wrapped up for this MRI, it's easy to get sucked into the spiral of fear. What could go wrong? And every medical checkup could have been excruciating. I think anyone here who have ever had a loved one in a hospital knows about how it feels. So I decided that I should trust. And I had to work a little bit on this one with some fake it until you make it, as they say. But I decided I would trust Ulysse, that he's going to make it through, no matter what. And honestly, he became so confident in his own skin. Like his signature was be fearless and have fun. So much that he would bring a smile and completely shift the atmosphere in any hospital room. And similarly with schools. Maybe I was lucky that we met the right teachers and headmasters, but I think most probably he was attracting with his energy the people that would trust him and believe in him. Let me tell you a small story. When he was 3-year-old, I think, he was dreaming to ride these bikes. And one thing with achondroplasia is that because of the size of the legs, there was no way his feet could reach the pedals. And I think he inspired his teachers by his relentless drive. And he found ways to have a friend of his driving and pushing the pedal for him while he was standing up like a warrior, very proud on his tank. Now, I must say that I feel extremely proud of what he has become. This is his first graduation party after 4 years of amazing preschool. And now, here in this school, well accepted by his peers, knowing how to get help when needed, and really spreading joy all around. Because trust and joy work hand in hand, and they are very contagious. Now, maybe you think it sounds a little bit too good to be true, like, you know, toxic positivity when you're asked to always see the silver linings, or just as simplistic as put on your rosy glasses. Maybe you think, well, it's easier said than done, and I must be optimistic, so no wonder, maybe with my upbringing, that I can see the glass half full, and I am Marie Joy after all. Now, was I joyful all the time? Of course not. Was it always easy? I swear, no. But I learned that it's actually a third concept that is key here, and I'll call it grace. It's a skill of cultivating joy. And grace doesn't mean ignoring the reality or the more negative emotions, or hiding, or trying very hard to find joy that is elusive. No, I think grace is about embracing joy where it is. And it is, after all, accessible. It's a skill that can be learned by anyone at any age. And when I realized that, it clearly made me a different mother, and it also invited me to step into a new profession, one that would allow me to help people build their resilience and find their joy for themselves. So I hope I can share with you a few tips about that before concluding, and what an amazing opportunity that I can share my experience and as well as what I learned in the textbooks. But Ulysse didn't need me to journey in grace. This is his first pop-up card that he did when he was 5. And this is the gratefulness note that he wrote last year. I am grateful that I am small, because when I play hide and seek, it's easy to hide. Each time I see this note, it makes my heart melt. Nor does he know all about the science behind positive psychology that shows that what you focus on grows. And the surest and the shortest way to joy is gratitude. And there are many ways to practice it. In fact, a study proved that even just 5 minutes a week of journaling can raise level of happiness by 10%. Another one showed that gratitude practice would correlate with a drop in 25% in depression. But my favorite one is as simple as take a moment every day before bed and just think about 3 good things that happen during the day, big or little. I also like to add 2 other questions to be able not only to appreciate the good that happened during the day, but to wonder, why did it happen? And what can I do tomorrow to repeat it? This method has been proving to work over and over again, be it for leaders, for educators, in families, in groups. And the last one I want to share with you is this one. Can you think of a memory, a good memory of you from the past? If you close your eyes and visualize it for a moment, your body, your heart, your mind will shift within seconds. It's because positivity triggers positive feedback loops in our brain. And sometimes I ask my client to list down a list of activities or things that brings them joy. And when they look at the list, they realize they're cheap and easy. And they can actually re-experience those moments anytime. But we tend to overlook it. I also learned from a great TED Talk from designer Ingrid Fettel-Lee that there are specific shapes and colors that bring us joy, that help us access to joy. Like confettis, for example, or like these eggs painted by a friend of mine for Easter. So what if we could see more of the aesthetic of joy around us? Now, as I'm wrapping up, I must confess that Ulysse has become my greatest teacher in joy, and that I have no doubt he will, in the future, step into the power of his name and do big things for the world. So I want to leave you with this simple message that if ever the journey of life takes you to places you didn't plan to visit, remember that joy is about choice, trust, and grace. Merci.